So the year 1816, following the 1815 eruption, was known by some as the year without a summer. And weather patterns were very, very much affected. There was snow in New England in June, for example. There was a big push of migration towards the western states. There was famine across Europe. There were reports of people having to eat their cats and moths in Switzerland, riots in France. It really had lots of ripple effects all around the planet.
Volcanoes can be dormant for centuries, but doing research on them is still dangerous work, and Tamsin is very aware of that.
I was given some good advice early in my career, which is that no scientific measurement is worth really risking your life for. But of course, volcanoes are inherently unpredictable, but we do try and really take all precautions we possibly can. We only approach the volcano if we're pretty sure that it is safe to do so. We will check in with the local monitoring agency and make sure it's in a stable state and they have a good understanding of what's going on. Of course, it's not foolproof. You are taking a risk and you have to be aware of that. But we will also wear protective equipment, so we wear gas masks and eye protection to protect us from the noxious fumes, and of course hard hats as well to protect us from any unexpected falling projectiles. And the other thing to remember is that often these volcanoes are big mountains, and big mountains are dangerous even if they aren't volcanic.
Talk a bit about the challenges of just like getting to places, getting your equipment there. You know, you probably have to hike quite a bit. So what are some of the everyday challenges you might experience?
Yeah, so often we're trying to take kit up that requires batteries. So I've had a lot of fun carrying car batteries up steep mountainsides, which is quite a lot of suffering. There are some volcanoes around the world you can actually drive into the volcanic plume. And I love those volcanoes. It's fantastic. You can just drive all your equipment in there, set it all up. Kilauea on Hawaii is one of those when its activities in a certain setup. And Masaya volcano in Nicaragua as well. But yes, carrying heavy equipment up volcanoes is part of the job. And that actually often means that we're quite frugal in terms of we look for things that aren't too power hungry. So we're often using quite basic technology in order to limit our power requirements. But it's not always possible.
Tamsin and her team also have to be really careful about the gases.
It's an extraordinary cocktail of gases that comes out of volcanoes, and if you do get a whiff, you sort of get the rotten egg smell of hydrogen sulfide, and then sulfur dioxide smells a bit more like burnt matches, for example. So I have been in the past described as something of a volcanic gases connoisseur. Sometimes it could be quite tricky actually working in all the protective equipment.
Oh, I bet. And I'm sort of trying to picture what your team must look like doing this work. It's almost like a scene out of Mad Max or something. The masks and the protective gear.
Yeah, sometimes it can look a little bit apocalyptic, especially when the weather comes in and you're trying to see, you've got all these people scurrying around trying to get the equipment in before in hail and snow or whatever.
What are some of the big questions about volcanoes that we are yet to fully understand?
Well, I think really getting a good understanding of their behavior in terms of how we make the best possible forecasts for their eruptive activity to be one of our big aims as science. And I think one of the exciting things there is the satellite measurements, because this allows us to build up a much bigger data bank about different types of volcanic behavior with different types of volcanoes. So maybe we can start to get them more into types of volcano and increasingly understand how different types behave, so we can take more lessons from one volcano to another. I think one of the things I'm working on a lot at the moment actually is a little bit less relevant to local populations immediately around the volcano, but maybe a bit more economically relevant. So